Angel, and this is Channel 4 News, The Quattro. Today we will be discussing the impact of typhoid fever. Typhoid fever is a bacterial infection that spreads through contaminated food, drink, or water. People who have traveled to countries where outbreaks have been recorded have an increased risk of contracting the disease. Let's go to my correspondent Elizabeth in the field.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm here with frequent traveler Veronica Smithson. She has planned to travel through many countries in Africa. What's the main reason you like to travel?
Well, I love to get out, and all the different cultures open my eyes to a variety of people.
Have you been to Africa before?
Yes, a few times.
Were you aware that Africa is a major hotspot for typhoid fever?
No, I've never heard of typhoid fever being a problem.
Well, typhoid is a bacterial infection, and it's found a home in Africa.
Should I be concerned?
You can receive a vaccination at the local hospital, and it would be your safest bet for your next vacation.
All right, I will, thank you.
But be aware that vaccinations only have a 70% effective for several years. Other ways to prevent typhoid fever are to drink only bottled water or boiled water, and make sure living conditions are up to code. Thank you for your time, Veronica. Back to Sarah in the
Thank you, Elizabeth. If you think you have contracted the disease, please check with your doctor. Symptoms of typhoid may range from, but are not limited to, a high fever of 103 to 104, a general ill feeling, abdominal pain, and severe diarrhea. Some patients have also developed a rash called rose spots, which are small red patches near the stomach and chest. Known ways to treat the symptoms include appropriate antibiotics, which are given to kill the bacteria. Fluids have been given as well to counter the effects of diarrhea. Here's Desiree with a timeline on typhoid fever events.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, I'm Desiree Carr. To get you more familiar with typhoid fever, I'm going to give you some background information. First, in 430 through 426, a devastating plague killed 1/3 of the population of Athens. During this time, the power was shifted from Athens to Sparta, ending the golden age of Pericles that had marked Athenian dominance. Ancient historian Thucydides, a man during this time period, also contracted the disease. He survived to write about the plague, which was the primary source of this outbreak. Secondly, in 1659, Thomas Willis described the symptoms of typhoid in detail in his first publication. He described the many symptoms present during the first week of the disease, the duration of the disease, severity, and relapses after the treatment was supposed to be cured. Also, he described the way the disease had to be maintained during the second and third week of the publication. Thirdly, in 1907, Mary Mallon was a cook in New York who was known to have infected 53 people, 5 whom died. She didn't have the disease of typhoid, but she carried it. Later, Mary became the first American known to be identified and traced. Next, during 1911, Eli Metchnikoff caused one of Koch's postulates producing diseases in chimpanzees after the throat insulation with typhoid. Lastly, on April 25, 2001, health officials said they documented the nation's first sexually transmitted outbreak of typhoid fever, a rare disease usually spread through tainted food and water. A Cincinnati, Ohio man passed typhoid to 7 other partners in the city who had sexual relations with him the summer before. The infection is treatable with antibiotics, but the occasional fatal for victims who did not seek treatment. Here's an interview with Mary Mallon, who is a known carrier of the disease.
I'm coming.
Hello, Mary. I'm Liz, a reporter from the Daily 10. I'm here for an interview.
All right, come on in. I'm just making some salad for the kids, so we can do the interview in the kitchen.
Sounds good. I just have a few questions and I'll be on my way.
All right.
Okay, Mary, my first question. How many jobs have you had where you've worked with families?
Well, since 1900, I've had 7 jobs.
Have you ever been ill when you worked with those families?
No, I'm a healthy woman.
Well, according to the records that Detective Soper has of those 7 jobs, 22 of the people came down with typhoid fever.
Yeah, I heard that some of the people from those families got sick, but it couldn't have been from me. It all just has to be coincidence.
Right. Then why did you refuse to give Detective Soper the samples he needed?
He was poking into my business, and I felt that he was accusing me of getting the family sick, and that's just rude.
But if you knew you hadn't done anything wrong, then why couldn't you just be compliant and give him the things he needed?
I don't get why he couldn't just trust me that I didn't do it. I mean, I've never had typhoid, and I was not unsanitary when it came to working around the family's food. It wasn't fair that he was treating me like a lab rat instead of a human being. I felt like I was being strangled the way he came into my place of work trying to get the samples he needed. How inconsiderate.
Okay. So that means you felt like you were having your rights taken away when they sent you to the isolated college on North Brother Island.
Of course I did. They made me feel like a deranged fool locking me up all by myself, only with a dog as a companion. It's like they thought I was a threat to others.
Well, Mary, you did infect 22 people with typhoid, killing one young girl. You didn't notice the path of illness you were leaving behind?
No, I noticed them getting sick, but how could it have been from me? I took care of the children, I cooled their fevers, and gave them water to drink.
As well as a cook, Mary Mallon was a caregiver for the children when they fell ill. Little did Mary know, the children were sick with the disease she had transferred to them.
So you felt healthy then?
Yes, very healthy. I don't understand how I could have spread the disease and caused death.
Well, I get how you could believe that. And because they were accusing your health, you decided to sue the health department.
Yes, I did. I had sent some samples to a private lab and all the test results came back negative for typhoid. So how could I believe that they were keeping me for a real reason other than just to keep me out of the way of work? I'm still not 100% sure what typhoid is. They didn't even bother to explain it, and the next thing I know, the judge rules in favor of the health department, and I'm back on that ridiculous island.
That is awful. But they had reason to believe that you were the spread of the disease throughout the city. So in order to keep many safe, they had to control the source. It's the law, Mary. So I thank you for your time. I believe I have all the information I need. I wish you all the best. I'll show you the way out.
I'm here with Kyle Rosenbaum from the CDC to better understand the future of typhoid fever. Kyle, can you please explain to us our future of this bacterial disease?
Thank you, Sarah. What I plan on discussing with you today is how the United States is not really in danger of an outbreak, but unfortunately third world countries such as those in Southeast Asia have a much greater chance of contracting the disease if they keep their living conditions the way that they are now. Luckily, there are medicines that can help with typhoid fever, as well as vaccines that reduce the chances of contracting the disease. We are hoping in the future we can make a cure for typhoid. Some organizations, such as the Peace Corps, are making efforts to supply medicines and simple things such as clean drinking water to those who cannot get a hold of it. But they can always use more help in supplying the people in a variety of regions. This is definitely a global threat because it is happening in so many countries.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge about typhoid and letting us know that we may help resolve this problem.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us today with our segment on typhoid fever. I'm Sarah, and this is Channel 4 News, The Quattro.